Good day to you all, and welcome back to our series on fathering fathers. Last video, we started a conversation around being involved and getting engaged in what your son is interested in. So what I've found for myself, I have a set of interests and things that I enjoy to do in my life, and I love to enroll people into that, especially my son. So those things for me are the same things that I had in common with my father. The outdoors, hunting, fishing, training dogs, archery, water sports, and then beyond the outdoors, traditional sports, football, baseball, basketball. There's many things that I enjoy doing. Everything from the outdoors to the opera, and pretty much everything in between. Now what I've found is, as much as I would love to share those experiences with my son, and we do share those experiences, he's not quite as enthusiastic about them as I am. Those are the things I love to do, you know. I love to go out and cut wood for the day. It's work, it's exercise, it's handling machinery. I just love doing that stuff. I did it with my father. I did it growing up. My son's not quite as enthusiastic. It's work. You know, you sweat, you get dirty and whatever. So what I've discovered is it's as important for me to become enrolled in what he loves to do as it is for me to enroll him in what I love to do. And I gotta be honest, sometimes I have to really work at it. In other words, most of the things my son enjoys is being on the computer, playing his games, interfacing with his friends on the computer, interactive virtual gaming. I'm not a big games person. I really never learned the art of the joystick. So I'm not very competitive, and it's kind of boring for him, really. So, and quite honestly, so here's the truth. I'd rather have experiences in real life, right? So let's go hunting. Alex's version of hunting is, let's play the Cabela's hunting game on a video. And my judgment says, why the hell would you want to do something in the virtual world when you can do it in the real world? I don't get that, right? But for him, that's what's fun. And for me, it requires me to step beyond that judgment, making him wrong, basically. So, in the most recent years, Alec has shown some real interest in editing software that he uses to edit these video games. It's beyond me, quite frankly. I mean, this kid's gone to places using Adobe Illustrator and Microsoft, I don't even know the name of it. He's got 4 or 5 different applications that he's starting to master. Like he's self-taught, meaning he goes on the internet, finds a tutorial or somebody that's using that software, and through that interaction he learns how to use it. And then through practice he perfects it, and he's become very efficient at it. So I'm very proud of him. First off, I must say I'm very proud, because I got to tell you, that is a skill he can take forward into life. So if he develops his love for that, you know, go work at Pixar. Go work at DreamWorks. I mean, endless possibilities, and that makes me excited. But how can I become involved in it is the question. See, so one of the ways we've looked at recently is Alex started getting paid to design the pages for a YouTube user, right? He got noticed because he did a little work for somebody that had a huge YouTube page. And it became apparent after about 400 hits in a week on his YouTube subscription that people wanted what he was able to do. So one of the ways I became more involved was helping him set up a PayPal account, talking about how, what would this pricing structure be? What's the age group of the people asking you to do work? Is it 12 to 15, or is it 25 to 35? And getting a sense for what the market would bear, so to speak. So anyway, we had a nice dialogue around developing a little business. How can you make some money doing this? And it was great. It was something we could share. I had a little bit of background in business. He was fairly open to talking to me about it. And I became invested in his project. So that was one example. Other things, he loves hockey. And of course, I love watching him play anything he loves to do. So, especially if it has to do with sports. So I'm always involved with taking him to practice, watching his games. That's pretty easy. That's easy stuff. I think a lot of fathers probably do that. If you're not doing that, I encourage you to take a look at how you can become more involved with your son's activities, because it does make a difference. Now, does he say, "Dad, gee, I really appreciate you coming to all my games and practices"? No. And I don't expect that. I just want, that's the kind of man I want to be, is that I show up. And it's important to me to show up in my kid's life, both my daughter and my son. So I encourage you as a father, us as fathers, to take a look at what's important in our kids' lives. What's their passion? Maybe passion is too strong of a word. Some kids are very passionate. Some kids have no idea, My son's not what I would call a self-starter, although I just described to you something that he started on by himself. So the other piece of this is giving them time to find it. I know when my kids were young, I wanted to expose them to everything I thought they'd be good at. Let them check it out and see if it'd be something they're interested in, right? Now, at some point, I get invested in whether or not they become interested. So baseball is an example with my son. He played for 4 or 5 years. Got to the point where he was really kind of bored with the game. Too slow, didn't hold his interest. He was actually pretty good. He had some pretty good success, but it wasn't for him. And I had to let go of the fact that he was not willing to play baseball any longer and give him the room to make his own choices. Now, of course I didn't let go completely. You've probably heard enough about my way of being that I do impose myself. But I also see that not just as a negative, I also see that as a positive. Meaning I stay involved with my kids' lives. And I only had one condition about quitting baseball. If that's not what you're all about, then I understand that. So what are you going to do with the time? Where can you spend your time that helps to build you as a person, And I don't recall exactly what that was. I believe it was hockey, as a matter of fact. Now, does it always work perfectly? Okay, you can quit this, but you got to do something else. No, it does not. But as long as you're holding that intention and holding the space, like this may be a little bit more on the spiritual side. I'm a spiritual man, but hold that space for your child to step into, to find what it is that fulfills them. I know fulfill at 15 doesn't probably go together, but you know what I'm talking about. So right now, Alec is taking classes at school that support his editing and design work at home, right? That's all. Let's talk about this. His high school happens to have an amazing television production program. Well, there's a lot of editing, there's a lot of design, computer programming. He loves to be on the computer. He loves to learn new programs. He's a very creative young man. All you have to do is kind of, there you go, what do you think about that? Yeah, well, I'll take that class. Okay, good. That's all. That's what I'm talking about. Not dictating, not forcing my will upon him. You will take that class because that's what you're in. I'd like to do that, and quite frankly, there's times when I do. There's no question about it. But what I'm saying is this, right? Kind of like I'm like the telescope. Look over that way. Whoa, yeah. Ooh, look over this way. Yeah, it's all right. Look over this way. Oh yeah. What do you think? Where? That's all. That's all. My father was pretty much hands off in the sense of giving me direction in life. Now, I'm not saying that in a negative way, and sometimes I resented him for it. Like, tell me what to do. He did not tell me what to do. He would assist, he would advise, but for the most part, it was my decision. And once I made the decision, he wouldn't let me quit. Right? So that was my choice. I chose to start football, got my ass kicked, especially when I was a freshman, little kid playing with a lot bigger people, and it was miserable. I hated it. I hated it. I would cry before having to go to two-a-day practices. But by the time I was a senior, I was a damn good football player, and I thank God my father did not allow me to quit, because it was one of the best experiences of my life. So those are the things that I believe fathering is about. Not forcing my will on my kids, but once they've decided what they want to do and chose, then supporting them to be successful, you know? So I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about it right now. And just summing this up, all I'm going to say is get involved with what your kids' interests are. And it may not be traditional. It's pretty easy if it's football, basketball, if it's some sport that you enjoyed and now they do, that's pretty easy. You get to live through them a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as you keep it in perspective. When it's something completely foreign to you, right? And you actually go to the place of judging it, okay? And making them wrong, because they don't like, in my case, let's experience it in the real world, not in the virtual world. That's where the problems start to reside. And that's where distance starts to grow between father and son. So that's my topic for today. I hope you've gotten a little bit something for yourself. Thank you for being here with me. God bless.